I think when the world seems insane to me, what I see as the insanity is that it seems like humans have sort of lost their fluidity. Nature is fluid. Nature constantly changes. We're constantly trying to solidify things. We're trying to give things that inherent meaning that don't have inherent meaning. So what we're seeing as a reality is layer upon layer upon layer of solidified ideas. So somebody has a good idea like, oh, there's lots of people that are living on the streets and they seem unhappy and I want to feed them. Well, then they set up a soup kitchen and so these people can come and eat there. But after a while, that institution might be something that's rife with corruption and it ends up defeating the purpose that it was established. And then that's where governments are coming from. That's where educational systems are coming from. That's where our medicinal system is coming from. And they all, I think, maybe started off with good intent, but they have long divorced themselves from that intent. And I think that the more that we remove ourselves from the natural cycles of life, the more apt we are to fall into these pitfalls and just kind of lose our way. I think we're trying to disassociate ourselves from the natural world, and that is insane. That's insanity right there, thinking that we can tame nature and sort of like a bonsai tree, force it to go in the path that we want it to. And that's where the insanity comes from. I think, to me, reality isn't innately insane. Our template that we're trying to force upon it is insane. Does that make any sense?
Well, yes and no. I would say nature's insane too. How many worms just died this second to feed a bunch of birds? How many small fish just died to feed a bunch of fish? Why, if you were building a sane system, would you create that particular system of constant suffering, destruction, eating of each other? In one, I mean, if you really step back, it's a slaughterhouse out there. Just walk into your forest. It is nature is a slaughterhouse. I mean, we can see the beauty side of it, like everything. Maya has two faces, right? Maya has a beautiful face, and Maya has an ugly face. It doesn't matter which one you're looking at; still Maya. And when it comes to generally the human world, everyone wants to look at the ugly face. And there's just as many beautiful faces as well within the human part of it. But and just like nature, people want to look at the beautiful face and forget that it's an ugly slaughterhouse. And so it's this really need to be on between all of this idea of betweenness, of really having both sides and your foot on both sides all the time when you're dealing with just about everything of reality. That can you keep yourself in the middle of both and not overbalance yourself one way or the other, because nature is a place where, in one sense, yes, I get the most balance, and I can rebalance and reheal myself so many times just by sitting peacefully at a really powerful place in nature. But I also know it's not as pretty as I like to pretend that it is. Um, and it's an honesty that not many people want to share. Not, I mean, it's people try to hide that fact of it. And again, if you step back deeper and deeper and deeper, well, why would you set a system up like that? Why would you set a system up that requires such carnage? Or when you pull a carrot out of the ground and eat it, does it scream? You know, we're forgetting this other side of it, that there's a brutalness inherent in this entire reality that we live in, and to try to somehow separate brutality from this experience and try to make it a really happy, wonderful, utopian place is probably guaranteed destined for failure, because that's just not how this is. One who is going to be really honest and look at both sides of this reality and acknowledge both together, the beauty and the ugly. I think that those people have a great possibility of doing amazing things here, because now they're dealing with the totality rather than just a part they like or don't like.
Sure.
Well, often wondered, what is the necessity of suffering?
Hmm.
When you consider how many beings, from children to animals to, every version of humans, why do we have to create suffering on this earth? What is the lesson in suffering? And one thing that I've opined is that one of the most powerful energies that exists in this reality is fear. And if you consider that, maybe that's one of the energies that's feeding this negative entity or this negative force is creating fear. And so that's the thing that wants us to keep resonating at this fear state, because that pulse is, it's almost like it's food.
I would be 100% in agreement with that, that this reality actually runs on fear, not love. Love is just love is like a soothing mechanism to survive it a little bit, you might say. Um, and so the question becomes, so people say, well, then you need to remove your fear, right? You need to stop being fearful. Well, if everyone stopped being fearful, the dream might go away. Now, maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe that's exactly what's supposed to happen. If the whole reality stopped their fear, it would end. Maybe that's when the experiment stops. Oh yeah, okay, it's done. But most people would not say, "I want to get rid of my fear so that I can stop existing." Right? They want to. I want to get rid of my fear so I can live better. So I can get something. I can be in a better place than I was before. So it's also, I hate to say this, but almost all, I would say 98% of anything that would be classified as religious slash spiritual slash self-help slash whatever exercises or presentation is all built on self-importance. It's all built on trying to make you better, trying to fix you, trying to take you to one step above where you are, trying to gain more than what you had before. And that's one of the reasons I've so appreciated when I ran into Richard Rose. I ran into Richard Rose a couple of years after I'd had my experience, and he was very clear that real spiritual work is nothing to do with making yourself better. If anything, it's deconstructing yourself until you find out the only thing you can't deconstruct.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep getting rid of everything that's false until you find one thing that's not false, and that's what you are. That's truth. And all the rest of it is just a game you're playing, wasting time to not do that. And it was like that was just so clear and so honest. Like that's it. And so we are. So I would say, in one sense, you could say the world is insane. Okay, yes. On another sense, the world is a giant distraction. This entire thing, and it doesn't matter whether it's happy distractions or evil, ugly distractions, it's still designed to distract us from, what am I feeling? What am I experiencing? What's going on right now inside of me? What does that mean? What is it that I'm most trying to understand? What is my deep, this is a big one. What is my deepest question? I've had some people ask me, what would my number one recommendation be? I always say, find your deepest question, because you don't need answers. You've got all the answers you will ever need. They're in a sense inside of you. You know everything. The problem is, to unlock it, you need the right question. And that's not the question that's what someone else has. It's got to be yours, your personal deepest question. When you find it, and if you don't know what it is, go look for it. Because once you've got your deepest question, the answers you seek will just start appearing. And so the world is designed to distract us from doing the very one thing that we seemingly need to do.